Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is the first time joining us, my name is Catherine Star Mlenga, and this segment is called Talk to Kathy. So before we get into the gist of it, I just want to apologize to you guys for not dropping episodes. I have been going through it. Okay, your girl has been going through it a lot. I know. And I do appreciate those of you that sent me emails, sent me DMs on my socials, asking me what's going on, why am I not dropping episodes anymore. I appreciate your push. I appreciate that you've pushed me so much. Anyway, without wasting much of your time and without me tearing up and getting so emotional and start telling you personal things you're not supposed to know, let's get into it. This topic was actually supposed to be on my 20th episode because I wanted to take you guys slow, like what should you expect when you come to the US, what are you gonna do, things like that. But each time I open my email, I open my TikTok, my Facebook, my Instagram, I get people asking me, how can I get a visa? And I just decided, okay, let me just drop it. Okay, this will be my comeback episode, and here we are. First of all, what is a visa? A visa is a document that allows you to travel to the United States. Okay? I usually get people confusing a visa and duration of stay in the United States. So when you get a visa, they might give you a 2 years visa, a 3 years visa, a 10-year visa, a 6 months visa, a 2 months visa, depending on what visa type, visa class, visa category you have applied for. All right, that 2 years does not mean you will stay in the US for 2 years. All right, if your visa says 6 months, it doesn't mean you have to stay in the US for 6 months. The duration of your stay in the US is determined at the airport or the border where you used to get into the US. So for example, I came to the US for school. I have a student visa, which is also known as an F1 visa, right? My F1 visa is valid for 5 years. That means I am allowed to use that one document for 5 years to travel into the United States. Each time I get into the United States, they have to give me a duration of stay. I get a lot of people panicking when they get a visa. Okay, why do they panic? Because their days are counting, right? They got a 6 months visa and they need to travel ASAP. That's what people think, because they think their days are counting, but your duration of stay is determined at the airport. Your visa will only allow you to travel to the US. Your visa doesn't mean you will stay in the US for this long. You understand? So I hope that is clear enough. If it is not clear enough, please drop a comment asking me to explain more on what a visa is. Also, I do not promote laziness. Try and do your own research. Okay? Applying for a visa. In order for you to come to the US, you should obviously have a reason. Okay? The consular is going to ask you, why are you going to the US? Oh, I want to go to the US because I want to go to the US. No. You want to come to the US because you're on vacation, because you're going to study in the US. You want to come to the US because you're a tourist. You're coming to the US because you're coming for a conference. You're coming to the US because you're visiting your friend. You understand? You're not coming to the US because you want to come to the US. Anyway, so first thing, know what you want to do in the US. Okay, after you know what you want to do in the US, then you will research what type of visa you need to apply for you to come to the US and do what you want to do in the US. You need to make sure you understand the type of visa that you are applying for and the requirements for that particular visa. I get people who apply for, let's say, B1, B2, and they overstay. But had it been they knew about an EB2 or EB1, they wouldn't have applied for a B1 and overstayed. But because they did not do their research on the types of visas, they ended up applying for a visa that they normally shouldn't have, So first thing you need to do is understand the types of visas that are available for you to come to the United States. B1, B2 is not the only visa you need to apply. F1 is not the only visa you need to apply. If you're going to use an agent to help you in your visa process, first, let me take this off the table. I am not an agent, okay? I am not an agent. But I do provide consultations. And yes, I charge for my time, okay? I'm not an agent, but I help with consultations. I help with trying to make people understand what a visa is, what types of visa they are. I ask them questions. Who are you? What do you do? And recommend a visa for them. If they need any help, let's say paying things in the US, booking hotels, they need someone to take them from the airport, they need to find accommodation, they need that, I would do that, okay? So maybe that qualifies me to be an agent, but I do not like to be called an agent because I don't think I am an agent. I don't classify myself as one, okay? If you come to me, I will charge you, yes, because it's my time. 1 hour is a lot. I have a baby, I have work, I have sleep. I need to catch up with friends, okay? So I do charge for my time. Back to it. You need to understand the types of visas that are there. If you're going to deal with an agent, ask them what types of visas do they help with, okay? If they tell you B1, B2 and student visa, ask them if there are any other visas they can recommend, okay? Because most people end up overstaying, coming to the US, end up overstaying. Well, they shouldn't have, really. To be honest, the other types of visas are pretty expensive. That's why most people choose B1, B2 and F1, which is student visa and visiting visa. But it might pay more to research and find out what types of visas are available and decide on a visa that might be good for you. Types of visas. Today, we're going to talk about visiting visa, aka tourist visa, aka B1/B2. That is one visa, okay? Second visa we're going to talk about, it will be the F1 visa, okay, which is the student visa. While I talk about the F1, I might also chip in some J1, okay? J1 is for exchange program visa, which is almost the same as a student visa. It's under a student visa. The next visa we're going to talk about will be an O1 visa. The bonus visa we're going to talk about will be an EB1 visa. Let's start with B1. The most common type of visa is a tourist visa, which is also known as a visitor visa. The official term of a tourist visa is B1, B2, okay?
So B1, B2 is the term, right? But just to break it down further, if you're coming here specifically for business, you're going to apply for a B1. You're going to put B1 visa on your application form. So that's business consultation, attending a conference, negotiations, whatever negotiation that is. If you're applying for tourism, coming for a vacation, visiting a friend, medical treatment, anything, doing sports, coming for a contest or something that you're not being paid, you're going to apply for a B2, which is the tourism visa. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I have breaked that down.
If you choose to apply for a B1, B2, which is a visiting visa, the most important thing you need to do next is know where you're going, all right?
The maximum a tourist, business or vacation visa, visitor visa can give you is 10 years, right? For 10 years, that will obviously be a multiple entry visa, which you can use as many times as you can. But most people get the 6 months one that can only be used once. Per trip, they will give you 180 days, which is 6 months. And you will need to return home, okay? You need to go back home.
So that's it about a B1, B2 visa. The next visa we're going to discuss is an F1 visa, aka a student visa. First thing you need to do if you're going to apply for a student visa will be finding what you want to study in the US. Okay, before you even find a school, know what you want to study in the US, because most people say, okay, just find a school for me. What school? What school? What if I find you an acting school? Are you an actor? Are you going to act? Are you going to go to an acting school? So these are the things you need to discuss with your agent or whoever is helping you. If you choose to be helped by someone, ask them, what school am I going? I know people who say, oh yeah, he said he's going to help me with school. What school? So I get this question a lot from people that want to come here for school, like, oh, so what school can I come for? Here in the US, everything you learn at school, even hairdressing, you go to school to do hairdressing. Nails, you go to school to do nails. Nails, you go to school to do nails. Cutting hair, being a barber or something like that. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, there are schools that teach that. There are schools that teach everything in the US. Trust me. That's why I said, know what you want to do in the US. Once you know what you want to do in the US, you can apply to come and learn that in the US. All right, so it's everything. To answer that question, anything. And you don't need, as long as you have an MSCE, you can apply for schools in the US. Another question I usually get is, what are the qualifications to apply for schools in the US? It depends on what school you want to go to. There are some schools that need you to have at least a high school, which is an MSCE. Okay, so as long as you have an MSCE, you can apply for a college, a public college. Your MSc should be good for you to apply for a university. So I hope you already know what a college is and what a university is. There are differences, right? There are other schools that don't really care if it's a private institution. Some colleges, some universities don't care whether you have a good MSCE, aka high school. They don't care about that. They just care if you're gonna pay the school fees. So any college or university might need you. Just Google if you want to come here and learn how to do makeup. Okay, just Google makeup schools in the US. Makeup schools in the US. There are gonna be a lot of them. Just make sure they have in-person classes, because some of you might apply for online classes and then I want to get a visa to go to the US and do online school. No, make sure they're in person. Okay, so you can just Google acting schools, Google whatever you want to study in the US. You can find a school for that. So it's anything, and the qualifications depend on the school you're applying for. The next question I usually get when it comes to F1 visa is school fees. That also depends on the school that you're applying for. Most colleges do not need you to pay a portion of your school fees. They ask you to pay only the registration fee, which is usually $50. Other colleges might need you to pay a portion of the school fees. Like the school where I went to, I had to pay $500 down payment for my school fees. But trust me, if you do a thorough research, you can also get scholarships. There are a lot of schools that provide scholarships to students, like fully funded scholarships or half or whatever portion. So yeah, you can find those. Just do your research. Don't be lazy. However, I'm gonna do an episode where I share schools that offer fully funded scholarships online and in person. Okay, I have one though that's just on top of my head. You can Google University of the People that offers fully funded scholarship, but it's only online and it's nationally accredited. So you can learn from University of the People, but back home. So the next visa we're going to talk about is an O1 visa. An O1 visa is a work-based visa. You need a job for you to apply for an O1 visa. An O1 visa is sponsored by your employer. So once you find a job that sponsors visas, you can apply for an O1 visa. So a question I get from people is, how can I find jobs while in Malawi? You can find jobs while in Malawi that sponsor a visa. If you have LinkedIn, go on LinkedIn. If you do not have LinkedIn, download LinkedIn, update your profile on LinkedIn, search for jobs that sponsor US visas. US jobs that sponsor visas. You will find them. Just put that in the search bar. Jobs that sponsor US visa, or US jobs that sponsor visas. You'll find a lot of jobs that do sponsor visas, and you're gonna come here with a work permit, a social security, and maybe a green card if you're lucky.
Well, if you're in the USA, you didn't do your research, came on a B1 visa or whatever visa you used to come to the US, and you're like, what can I do now? Well, if you can find a job that sponsors a US visa, you can change your status from B1 or whatever you are right now to an O1. So you can have a visa that gives you a work permit and all of that. But just make sure that you have done nothing that would disqualify you from receiving an immigrant benefit. US citizenships and immigration services determines that nothing warrants requiring you to leave the United States before you reapply. They might need you to go back home to apply for that visa, even though you have an employer willing to file for you. And you can only apply for a change of status before the expiration date on your form I-94, which is the departure and arrival record, right? I already mentioned that the duration of your stay in the US is determined at the airport. So as long as you have days, as long as you're still legal, you can change your status to another type of visa or another visa class. So yeah, all the best. I said I am going to talk about an EB2 visa, but I think I should discuss that when I'm discussing green cards, because an EB2 is a green card that you can apply for when you have a master's degree or a degree and 5 years of work experience. So yeah, I think I should discuss that when talking about green cards and types of green cards.
That's it for the day, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this video is helpful, will be helpful, might be helpful in a way. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification button so that you're notified whenever I post a new video. And if this video has been helpful to you, please share so that it reaches someone else and help them. Thank you so much. Till next time. Bye.